All right, it's not every day that I go live at 11 p.m. at night to discuss a game, but that one right there warrants it. That was probably one of the best games that I've watched in the past 5 years between the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens. I live for this shit. I sit up for that entire thing. It's late. I got to work in the morning, but damn it, I sit up for that thing because that was an instant classic. Not that often are we blessed with games of that caliber. And going into it, right, like you understood the dynamic of it. You had Lamar Jackson going in, trying to get his revenge on the Bills for beating them in the AFC Divisional last year. That game, too, is a classic, a lot lower scoring than this one, but the storylines were there. We knew that combustion was there going into this game, that it could possibly be that, and it sure was. It delivered over and over and over again. Let's just discuss the ebbs and flows of this game first. So you flick the thing on, right? First drive, Buffalo carves right down the field, goes up 7-0 on the Ravens. The Ravens respond and get three. Okay. And then Derrick Henry starts absolutely going off. He finished with almost 200 rushing yards to end the night. And you say that about most running backs, and it's, oh yeah, that's a career night. But to King Henry, he's had a multitude of nights of that level, and so that's nothing new when it comes to Derrick Henry. So he gets going and going and going and going. Like Limp Bizkit says, rolling, 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 and Zay Flowers joins the action. Zay Flowers had a hell of a night. So my heart goes out to guys like Zay Flowers, guys like Derrick Henry, who absolutely balled out. And then this is the end result. But that's the kind of game that this was. I mean, the Ravens felt comfortable for a while. They're up by 15 points at one point in the third quarter. So absolutely unreal. I mean, I'm watching this thing just to see it play out. There were multiple points where I looked over at my roommate and I was like, yeah, this is it. They iced it. That's game. And nonetheless, the Bills storm right back, down 15. They never gave up. Josh Allen put on an absolute masterclass. Almost 400 yards passing. Insane game. Once again, and my buddy Luke Close just mentioned this on Instagram here. The Ravens beat themselves. They beat themselves once again. Turnovers, third downs, punting it. They felt comfortable, gave it back to Buffalo multiple times. But it was what was helping the Ravens that ended up cursing them at the end of the day. Derrick Henry, that fumble. The Bills' defense, I'm going to say this about the Bills' defense. This is going to be a theme with them this year. That secondary is atrocious. That secondary is burnt toast. And we knew this going into this season. It's gotten thinner and thinner and thinner. And then, you've got guys on the injured reserve now. Travius White's, Maxwell Hairston is on the IR now, injured, not able to play. And so that room is already thin to begin with. And the Ravens, I mean, they killed it on the ground tonight, but Zay Flowers was virtually unstoppable. That's going to be an issue for the Bills this year. And the Ravens exposed that. But nonetheless, the Bills have that kind of firepower. They have that kind of scoring power. I'm going to be honest here. I'm going to say something that's going to make a lot of people uncomfortable, and you know what? I'm ready to unload it. There is a chance that in the next year or two, Josh Allen will be the best quarterback in the NFL. That final drive was heroic. And Chris Collinsworth said it multiple times on SNF tonight, and I completely agree. Josh Allen's progression as a professional, as a quarterback, there's been very few stories like it in the history of the NFL. It's just point blank. There's been very few examples of this. He was choppy. He was unrefined his first year, very reliant on the run game. Second year was still a work in progress, still kind of sloppy. Stephon Diggs gets there, that helps his development out. But now that Stephon Diggs is gone, Josh Allen has found himself on a whole new level. And he has that clutch factor like a Patrick Mahomes. Like that drive, that final drive on the field tonight reminded me of something that Tom Brady would have done. So it's only a matter of time before this man wins a Super Bowl. It's going to happen. This could be the year. The final opening nights of Highmark Stadium in Buffalo. And that's what you get. Those Bills fans get an instant classic. I'm really happy for them. There was some unruly behavior of throwing water bottles at Derrick Henry, putting your hands on, DeAndre Hopkins' head. Lamar Jackson shoved a fan tonight. It got a little chippy. It got a little ugly. Bills fans, gotta get your shit together. But being from northern New York, I can't help but be happy for y'all when I see the Bills pull off. I will say that DeAndre Hopkins catch, and I think it was the third quarter, precision pass from Lamar Jackson, dropped it right in the bucket. I mean, was absolutely unbelievable. And I feel bad for the Ravens. I feel bad for Lamar Jackson. I feel bad for Derrick Henry with the way that this game played out tonight. That was painful. To put up 40 points and still lose the game. The Ravens secondary was an issue at times last year. It was really exposed. I don't know if you're going to face many more offenses as high-powered as the Bills, but it was exposed bad tonight. And quite frankly, it's just like every comeback here. The Ravens simply got comfortable. They got comfortable. They got lackadaisical. They were up by 15. They thought they had this in the bag. They weren't going for on third and fourth down. And they're comfortable with just punting it away, with just giving it back to the Bills. And it put the wind back in their sails. Right? I mean, decision-making, penalties, turnovers, put the wind right back in Buffalo's sails. It's kind of like a tornado forming. It takes a lot of factors to align for a 15-point comeback to occur within a quarter, but they all happened tonight. Breaks, Buffalo getting that fumble and then making something out of it. Buffalo capitalized. They converted. They made something out of the break that the Ravens gave them. And that's what championship teams do. Like my man Luke Close says right here, you got to shrink the playbook when the game's on the line. You can't outthink the room. You got to just put your balls on the table, roll the dice, and go for it. You've got to remain aggressive if you're Baltimore. This was a very emotional game if you're the Baltimore Ravens, and it was expressed multiple times during the broadcast tonight. The frustration that was in the voices of Ravens players. Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers, Derrick Henry, coaching staff, John Harbaugh, when they would talk about that divisional game, because it was a heartbreak. The Mark Andrews drop. It was absolute heartbreak. And you know that this was some shit that they took personally. They took this game personally tonight. This shit meant something to the Ravens tonight. And so to go all the way up, to perform as efficiently, like there was a time I was texting friends of mine in the third quarter, and I was like, this Ravens team looks fucking scary. If you're the rest of the AFC watching this game, this team looks terrifying. The way that this Baltimore offense navigates that combination with Lamar and Derrick Henry, I know there's a lot of talk about it when the acquisition was made, but seeing it take place, and then you add Zay Flowers to the equation, and Zay Flowers' progression has been incredible. Rashad Bateman's progression has been incredible. two receivers have grown a lot these past several years. Just seeing this whole system develop has been nothing short of incredible for the Ravens. But man, the way that imploded, I don't even want to say in the second half and a quarter, it was absolutely devastating because the Ravens did everything perfect to a T to the end of the third quarter. And then that fourth quarter, just straight implosion and giving that game to Buffalo. If you're the Ravens, you have a game like this, you ask yourself, how do we respond? We get back into a situation like this where we're playing dominant football. We're playing at a high level. We choke it up. We give it away. And it's PTSD with this. I mean, there's flashbacks. Like, you go back and look at the divisional game, and in so many ways, it reminds you of it. I mean, Buffalo controlled the tempo for a lot of that game. But there were points where the Ravens could have capitalized on opportunities and really shift the momentum in their advantage and pulled that game off. And they didn't. They let Buffalo take control and advance back the AFC Championship to play the Chiefs. And if you're the Ravens, so this is what pains me so much about watching them. There's so many guys on this team I like. Obviously, your Lamars, your Derrick Henrys, your Zay Flowers, your Rashad Batemans, your Justice Hills. But I love Tyler Lindenbaum. I love Kyle Hamilton, Nate Wiggins. Like, there's Roquan Smith. There's so many dogs on this team. Player for player, when it comes to depth, this is a top 3 roster in the NFL. And what pains me is I know that when I watch this team, they are so incredibly capable of not only making it to a Super Bowl, but winning the Super Bowl. They're so capable. But in order to make that next step, you've got to become better situationally. If you're the Ravens, you have to be better at getting opportunities, capitalizing on them, and then when you have a lead, protect it. Continue to be aggressive. Don't become comfortable. Situational execution has been an issue for these Ravens these past several years because they have all the ingredients. They have the personnel. They have a top. What am I going to say? They have the 4th best quarterback in the NFL. That's what else. I love Lamar Jackson, but I put Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow above him. Him and Joe Burrow, that's interchangeable. I could put Lamar at 3, but we won't go off on that whole tangent here. It's there. Point being, it's there. The ingredients are there. And there's a lot of teams in college football I feel this way about, and the Ravens are one in the NFL where I see it all there, and it comes to situational execution that holds this team back time and time and time again. The good thing for the Ravens, this is week 1. Okay. And you lost to a team who may be playing in the Super Bowl this year. It's not the end of the world. If you're a Ravens fan, you're sick to your stomach right now. And I feel you because you're up by 15 and your team got comfortable, they got confident. It was all because of psychology that you lost that game. And I get that. That's a devastating feeling. You're going to hold on to that. But how do you respond? All right, how do you respond over these next few weeks? That will be what will be the testament to the Ravens' character. I got my man Luke Close who wants to join me here on Instagram. So on YouTube you'll be able to hear him a little bit, but he's going to be on our Instagram feed here. I just accepted him to join. But he's an avid Ravens fan, so of course I want to hear his takes. Luke, how are we feeling?
That was a disgusting effort from the Ravens right there. It was great for 50 minutes, and then it all collapsed. It's just, as a Ravens fan who's seen this every single year, every single season, the playoffs, the regular season, anything, you knew it was coming. You could feel it. And I have my biggest takeaway is why on earth are you punting the ball away with that Bills offense that's scored every single drive for the last 4 or 5 drives, and they've been, with really little resistance. I'll say that Keon Coleman catch was a little fluky.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
classic play that happens to the Ravens every single year. But I have a long list of score bugs from Ravens chokes, and I'll send it to you. But we're going to add another one to the list, and I'm telling you this, that loss was bad. There will be another one or two more like that this year, where you sit. Nobody beats the Ravens like the Ravens.
What is it? Because that's what I want to know. It's you know, I was getting pissed off at Buffalo for a while because I was like, you have this, you're behind by multiple possessions and you keep going for two, and that was driving me crazy because I'm like, you keep falling further and further behind because you're not converting on these. But then the Ravens kept throwing opportunities out the door and did not put their foot on the Bills' throats and just end this game. You know what? I said that about the Chargers on Friday night. They had a knockout punch against the Chiefs, and it's so important to have that knockout punch. I didn't see that from the Ravens tonight. I mean, I thought Lamar looked incredibly efficient. I thought Derrick Henry looked incredible. You know, I thought Zay Flowers was great, but like what went wrong? What the fuck happened?
Okay, well, when you're looking, I mean, obviously the offense scored 40 points.
Yeah.
It's not on the offense at all. I expected the secondary to play a lot better than it did. I was very high on the secondary. Jair, I know it's a new system. I know it's his first game here, but was not impressed with him. Very impressed with Nate. Was impressed with Nate Wiggins. Very impressed with Nate Wiggins. I think he's going to be great. We needed to get some push. We need to get some push on the defensive line. I was very disappointed to see David Ajabo was inactive before the game.
Yeah.
He had a great preseason. I mean, you saw what he did to Anthony Richardson. He clobbered him.
Yeah.
But we were missing Pat Ricard up front too. He's the fullback, defensive tackle kind of hybrid. Overall, it just looked like you know who it reminded me of?
Who?
Mario Cristobal.
Yes, that's solid. That's a solid comp.
He gets up. He's got a great game plan, and then as soon as it looks like the game's out of reach, like he's got it in the bag or whatnot, it's play not to lose instead of play to win. And honestly, on that throw to DeAndre Hopkins, who I was pleasantly surprised with as well as a wide receiver 3 for us. He didn't get to the sticks, but that's 3 yards. How often did the Bills stop a Lamar run for 3 yards? 3 yards or less? Did they stop it once for less than 3 yards? I don't know what his average per carry was, but I would have put it in my best player's hands. I wouldn't have put it in a defense that had given up 15 points in the last 2.5 minutes. And with Josh Allen on the field, Josh Allen has done that, has led a drive like that many of times. I mean, you've seen it. It's on film. You know it's coming. Just zero adjustments. Offense was fine. You can't blame the offense. I know Henry had that fumble. That's unfortunate.
That was fluky. I can't. I don't want to say that I can't put that on Henry, but that was fluky. That can happen to anybody. It was just wrong place, wrong situation, wrong time.
Yeah, we just gotta lock it in.
This is what I take away from the Ravens here, and this really just popped my head like about a minute ago.
Yeah,
they're so talented. They know they are. They're capable. I don't know why they don't call plays that way. Right? I don't know why that isn't reflected in their play calling. You know, they don't coach, they don't execute like they're confident in what they have after a while. Like I look at this team and as a bystander, I know that they're better than 90% of the teams that they'll be playing against. I mean, this is a team that's capable of hoisting the Lombardi, like no question on my mind. But they don't call plays, they don't execute like they're confident, and so it's mind blowing to me.
We need to. I mean, it's honestly the worst part about the Ravens is that you can't really pinpoint what the exact issue is. Like that's kind of how I felt about Alabama week 1 too, where it was hard to pinpoint exactly where things went wrong. But it's the thing that worries me is that this happens consistently. This is a consistent issue. It's not like, I mean, dude, we had a 99.1% chance to win that game.
Yeah, at one point in the early fourth quarter.
It was, we went up 15. It was with the ball. It was like 99.1% chance.
99% chance to win. That's unbelievable.
In the NFL too. Like in the NFL, you have a 50% chance to win almost every time you step on the field, but a 99% chance to win a football game and you can't get the job done. And it speaks to some there's more issues that can even be discussed. We don't even know the full extent. I know it's week 1 or whatnot. It was 40-25 with 5 minutes left.
Yeah. And especially this is a rule of thumb, especially in the NFL. I know the dynamic of college can be different. When you score north of 35 in the NFL, you should win.
Yeah,
you should win. That should be a rule of thumb.
Yeah. It's like, you do have those games where it's like I believe it was Chiefs Raiders a few years ago, where it was like 56-55 or something.
That was an absolute barn burn. I remember that game.
Yeah, like it's like you have those games like this, but I mean, for a while, I mean, I really don't even understand what happened defensively, because it looked like the Bills were lost. They went and scored on the first drive, and then after that, they were held to 18 points for the majority of the rest of the game. For about 45 minutes of the game, they scored 18 points, and that time the Ravens outscored the Bills 37-18. And it's just we just need to figure it out. I mean, it's week 1. There's a long season, but this is going to hurt when you're looking back at games where you're like, are we either going to have to go on the road at Buffalo? It's like, are we either going to have to go on the road at Buffalo in the playoffs, or would we play them in the M&T Bank Stadium? This is a game you're going to look back on and be like, what, you blew a 15-point lead in 4 minutes and that's why you have to go play in Buffalo instead of at home, which is in the playoffs a ginormous deal. This one's gonna sting in about. It stings a lot right now. It's gonna sting a lot worse in 16, 17 weeks, because the Ravens, let's be honest, you lost to a team just as good. Really, I mean, like if not, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Well, that's another thing that you think of with this game too is. This could decide seeding. Like this could be the difference between getting home field and having to go back there, which is, and then even think about it in the context of this is the last year of Highmark Stadium. So if you're going there for the AFC Championship, Buffalo's looking to get back to their first Super Bowl since the early 90s.
Yeah.
And they're going to be closing that stadium down. They're going to be demolishing that stadium after that game is done. You're going up against that. The last time I saw that was when the Falcons played the Packers in the 2017 NFC Championship, and the energy was palpable. We already know what a Buffalo playoff game is like there, and the energy that they bring. They're throwing snowballs at people. I mean, you know what you're going to be getting. Multiply that by 4, and
they've ended our season there twice in the last.
Yes,
years.
And the Ravens' record there isn't great.
Yeah, it's just not. I have hope. I'm not gonna. Like I said, I'm like numb to it at this point. It's just kind of a classic Ravens thing. Like it's like almost like we're like Auburn, where you just like find ways to lose games.
Don't compare yourselves to Auburn.
No, that's what we look like right now. But I mean, we'll figure it out. I just whatever the Ravens' points are next week, I would hammer it with with everything I had. Like I mean, I forget who we play next week, but it might be Kansas City.
No, Kansas City's got Philly.
Okay, so we play Kansas City. We play Kansas City early on, though, because I know the ratio. I think they might be week 3 for us.
Yeah, maybe Cincy next week. I'm not sure.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it's either Cincy or Cleveland.
Yeah, I think it's Cincy. I want to say, but it's nothing to panic about. It's nothing to freak out about. I mean, the only reason why I called an emergency press conference here is because it was just an instant classic of a game. Like we're whatever side of this you're on, we're going to go back and look at this game forever and be like, man, that was a fucking game. It was the only ever 41-40 game in NFL history. Yeah. Scoregami. I'm a score nerd. I'm not going to forget about that one. But that was I couldn't believe it. It was one of those things where you're in the moment watching this game and you're like pinching yourself like what am I actually witnessing right now? And
Well, yeah, that's. I just want to. I would prefer to start ending up on the good side of these instant classics because I feel like most of the time we're on the wrong end of the instant classics, and then it gets brought up. It'll be like I'm gonna have to sit there and watch replay after. I couldn't open my phone up after the Florida State game. I had to put it away for a couple days. We're right back to square one.
They hung that over our head for the entire week, and this is one like you're going to see that Josh Allen touchdown pass time and time again when he fit that right in that tight window, that last touchdown they had in the game. You're going to be hearing for days how Matt Prater got called out from Arizona. He's like he doesn't know any of his teammates' names, and he's now suddenly in Western New York playing for the Bills and knocks down the chip shot for the Bills to win the game. The kind of fire drill field goal that they had. Like you're never going to hear the end of it. But the good thing is it's a long season. This happened on week 1, so if you're the Ravens, you can definitely right your wrong here. Like I'm not concerned at all. It just it sucks to be on the losing side of what's going to be the most talked about game this week before you get to rinse your palate out with a new one next week.
Hey, it's all good. It happens. It happens 3 times a year, so it's always something like this too. And it's always, as soon as Henry fumbled the ball, I was like, oh boy.
Well, it was the field position. Like if y'all had driven all the way over to Buffalo side of the field, you're like on their 39 or something. I'd be like, all right, like they still got a ways to go. But the fact that they just scored and then they got the fumble recovery, like that's how most comebacks start. Like I was talking about before you hopped on, like to make like a 15 to 20 point comeback, it's kind of like a tornado happening. Like you gotta have multiple things. Like you've got to have the air pressure's got to be right. You got to have the correlation coefficient. Like you've got to have all these things on your side. The energy's got to be right in the atmosphere. When a fumble on your own side of the field, that's like game suicide right there. That's the ultimate comeback initiator.
We should have just let Keon Coleman. Jair, not only did he get burned by Keon Coleman, he then tackled Coleman instead of just letting him walk into the end zone, which would have given us 50 seconds with 50 seconds and 3 timeouts. We should have just let him score. I mean, the way our offense was moving, the way, like you said, Zay Flowers was playing, I would have trusted Lamar with the ball in his hands with 50 seconds left, starting from the 35, to go down and at least put it close. And he's done it a million times. So I would have preferred. It was just I thought that one thing I thought too was I noticed how like kind of wacky our special teams looked out of like in terms of like missed assignments and how they were moving and whatnot. Yeah. And I feel like that was just kind of an indicator that the team really wasn't as prepared or mentally locked in, but we just have so much talent on this roster and so much capability on offense that a lot of the time it masks the real issues behind the curtains. But it will be all right. I think we got that running game is that nobody's going to stop that running game. And the only way we're going to get beat is if we beat ourselves like we did tonight. And it's going to take it took a miraculous effort from the Bills to beat us. So that's the way I hang my hat on.
I mean, it's that is a takeaway is that if you want to beat the Ravens, that's what you got to do. And there's very few teams in the NFL that are going to be able to do that. And so that's a testament to the Ravens. It's going to be hard to beat that team this year. But when you're a team as talented as the Ravens, there's one of 2 ways to approach it, right? You can either use your strengths as your advantage, or you can use it against you. And what I mean by that is, will you let overconfidence get in your way, or will you let it be the difference maker in clutch time? And that's the shift that the Ravens have to take right now. They have to they have to enable that confidence, or that they have to enable their talent to be what puts them over the edge.
I agree.
And once they make that adjustment, that's when you'll be a Super Bowl team. It can happen.
Yeah.
This is only the beginning. This is only week 1, but they'll rebound from this. I'm not worried.
I agree. Well, thank you for letting me hop on.
Absolutely, brother.
I'm gonna get back to it. Stomach this loss, and then move on to the next day. And we should have a good one tomorrow between Minnesota and Chicago.
And I love that NFC North battle. I mean, seeing JJ McCarthy really get his first start will be interesting. But take care of yourself, man. Go take a shot at Jameson, whatever you got to do, and just process it.
After this weekend, I think I'm starting my sobriety campaign. So.
New month, new me.
Yeah, new Ravens season, more pain.
You'll be fine. You'll be what's the word for it? You'll be basking in glory here in a few months. You'll be fine.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I'm not giving up yet, but this is definitely a kick in the gut for week 1.
Situational execution's got to get better. Once they master that, once they master that, which I think they'll be able to, they'll be all right.
Yeah. Well, all right. Take care, man.
Yes, sir. Take care. Enjoy your night.
Yes, sir. You too.
That was Luke Cloaks, everyone. It's great to have him on. I always love having his input. Avid Ravens fan, so that's his viewpoint. I want to end this video here. I know I got to take my ass to bed here in a few minutes because it's 11:30, and I want to work out in the morning, to be honest. So I got to end this thing here in a few minutes. But I want to end this off by saying that this game was truly a gift, and we had a lot of them today. I mean, Jets Steelers was cinema. The divisional matchup, Falcons Buccaneers, was cinema today. There are a lot of fantastic games that we had, and I'm sure that I'm forgetting a few. Chargers Chiefs Friday, Cowboys Eagles. Hopefully, we have a good NFC North battle tomorrow night. But damn, there are some good quarterbacks in the NFL right now. I mean, the privilege that we have to watch Lamar Jackson play against Josh Allen play against Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Mahomes, Burrow, Jackson, Burrow, Allen. I mean, whatever way you slice it, there has now been so many instant classics between these guys. Like I just want everybody to take a moment to acknowledge the special time that we're in right now when it comes to NFL football, the sheer amount of quarterback talent that we have. And I know it's not deep. Like once you got to the top 10, it's a little questionable. But the top of the top right now is elite. And it's providing some elite matchups. This is a great game. This might be one of the best instant classics of the year, but there's a lot more that came from. I guarantee it. Bills start their season off hot. 41-40 victory. Game-winning field goal. Matt Prater in his 40s, coming out of retirement, flying out from Arizona. What a great way to start the season. Let me know what y'all think about this game in the comment section below. If you're the Bills, this feels like the beginning of a very special season. And I picked the Bills to win the Super Bowl. That tonight, that's what Super Bowl teams do. When your back's against the wall, when you're facing adversity, when everybody thinks you're over and done with. You're Josh Allen. You put your team on your back and you deliver and have an absolute masterclass of a night. That's what MVPs do. That's why he won that shit last year. And that's why I'm confident he'll be hoisting that trophy at the end of this year. And I stand on it. Let me know what y'all think about this take in the comment section below. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day.